Well, hello everybody. My name is Jeff Rogers, and I want to welcome you to tonight. We are blessed to have another great training by our Executive Vice President, Joe Licciardi. I've always said that sometimes you can succeed by accident. You don't even know how you got there. You just got there, and you're just going to bask in the glory, right? But when you've done it over and over and over and again, you have a tried and proven method of how you got there. So you didn't just do it once by accident. You were able to repeat the things you did right, do it right a second time, a third time, a fourth time. And Joe brings that experience to us, to Hülsa. And we're so blessed to have him on our team. He's going to teach tonight and teach us some more nuggets that we need to know how to get our business started quickly and get it off on the right step. You don't have a second chance to create a 90-day story. So you got to make sure you get out of the gate properly. And Joe, I'm excited to hear about it. I appreciate your time and your wisdom that you give to us, my friend.
Well, thanks, Jeff, and appreciate the introduction. And you just said something, about the 90-day. Hang on, let me get myself centered here. How come I look like I'm? Here we go. 90-day start, right? That's where we start our business, and that's where we're going to find the most momentum. And during that time frame is where I see so many individuals. They either are able to make it, or what's the other word, Jeff? Make it or break it, right? We just right. We just it's during those first 90 days, and I think it's a very critical time, and especially about when you start your business off, it's a very critical time. Now, some of you that have been on this call, for the last 4 or 5 months, you've heard this training maybe a couple times, and you're probably wondering, why are we doing this again? Well, number one, it's always good to go back to basics. I always believe that a rule of thumb is that if you're not seeing the results you want to go back to the basics, start all over again. And that's what we're going to kind of do tonight. Plus, we have a new team that's growing in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I know I'm not looking at the list, but I know there's some new brand partners on there. They haven't heard this training. And so I'm going to just kind of condense everything that we've done in the past, and move forward. But, this training that I'm going through, as Jeff mentioned, once you understand what to do those first 90 days, what happens is that you're able to actually, do this anywhere. Once you learn the proven predictable patterns of activities, then you're able to do this anywhere in network marketing. And I've done it not just once, but I've done it 4 different times, built huge networks just by using the simple things that I've done. In fact, I learned that through these steps, my wife and I created over $100 million in revenue by applying these predictable patterns of success. And it's really basics, fundamental principles of network marketing. This is how you start. Now, what I want you to realize is that anything, and I mean anything in life that's worth having, will not come easy. Let me repeat, anything worth having, meaning if you're looking to change your life financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, get out of that 40-40-40 job or whatever it is, it's not going to come easy. It's not. In fact, the bigger the reward, the harder one must apply themselves to achieve it. You see, we've heard before in life that anything worth having in life will take work. That's why we're in the industry called network marketing. It takes work, everybody. It's just how it is. And so here's how I want to start off, kind of giving you an analogy. I've used this so many times in building successful networks in this industry, right? So you see this water pump right here. And I always say, network marketing is kind of like the old pioneers, and they're priming the pump, right? So this water pump here, obviously it's, not maybe a pioneer's pump, but what I want you to visualize is back in the days where they had to dig a well and had the windmill, but they still had to pump water up, right? To get that water to the top, that pioneer had to pump and pump and pump and pump and pump until he almost broke a sweat, right? He had to work so hard to bring that water 200-300 feet down, bring it to the top, and he had to work so hard to get it there, right? It's kind of like the momentum had to build. But what happens once that momentum built, right? He was able to do it with one finger, just one finger, over and over and over. But the moment he stopped moving that lever, what happened? That water would start going back down. You see, your network marketing business is exactly the same thing. It takes a lot of work at the beginning. And if you work hard enough and keep working at it, your pump will be prime and that momentum will roll. But the moment you back off, let's say you had a bad day, a bad week, a bad month where you're not doing wholesale, you're not out there prospecting, you're not doing the fundamental activities that got you to the point where you're at. Guess what happened? That water will dry up. It'll dry up very quickly. So you got to keep priming the pump until you get that momentum. So, and here's the next thing about understanding how to launch business. That's kind of what we're going to talk about. These steps I'm going to show you is how to properly launch business. You see, how you launch your business is exactly how everyone you bring in will launch. If you do it right, guess what? It will duplicate correctly. However, the truth goes to say that if you launch incorrectly, guess what? So will your business. So you might be saying, what is launch incorrectly? And I'll just kind of give you a quick overview. Launching incorrectly is, and I'm just going to be straightforward because this is all brand partners. There's no guests on here. So you guys ready for this? The way to launch incorrectly is not come in at the right package for you. In other words, if you don't come in on a package, that means you're not looking to build a business. If you come in on one product, you're not serious enough about building a business. Because what will happen is that everybody else that you go talk to, guess what? They're going to say, oh, I can do one product, right? It's not going to build the right way. I'm sorry to tell you that's just not how to correctly launch a business. Number two, failing to get your people on AutoShip. That's right. AutoShip is your residual business, everybody. That's where in our comp plan, after that first 30 days, you'll start earning 40% of that residual income from everybody who places an order. That is where the beauty of this industry is. If you fail to get your people on AutoShip, guess what? Your business will have no residual income. You might as well stay to that 40-40-40 plan. Joe, you're hitting it pretty hard. Yes, I am. But I want you to get this. You know, if you're hearing this, you know, for the first time, look, I want you to understand how important it is to launch your business correctly, right? And so when we talk about building that foundation, right? It's no different than, you know, an architect designing a massive skyscraper. Do they start at the top of that thing or they start at the bottom of the thing? Well, they visualize the end result, which is the top. But where do they start? They start in the foundation of any skyscraper, of any business. The foundation is the most important. That's why in a skyscraper, the bigger the skyscraper, the bigger the footings, the thicker the rebar, the more concrete they use to pour those footings. If they don't have the proper footings, guess what? That building will not last. Well, guess what? Your business building tech, the principles are going to be the same way. If you build a weak foundation, it will guarantee to crumble. I know you're all saying, dang, this sounds like a pretty tough business. Well, it is, but let me tell you, the rewards are greater than anything that you will ever see in your lifetime. I know that because I know that over and over and over again. So let's start off, and I call it the first 48 hours, and that's kind of a term, but I like to have everybody understand that when you start your business, the moment you breathe life into it, your first 48 hours begin. Now, when you decide to start doing all these steps, it's up to you. If I was your upline, I would say you need to start doing this within the first 48 hours, right? You must take ownership because completing these activities is so important. Personally, when I built networks, I said, and I've worked with a few of you, coached you along. I said, if you want me to work with you, you must do these things. You have to do these things. And so, Spencer, you're gonna have to help me with next clue here because I don't know if I go to step one. Okay, there you go. We're talking about your why. Thank you. Your why is always the biggest step, and if it's not done properly, it will limit your success in this business up to 90%. That's right, 90% of the failure rate comes for improperly building your why. Why are you building a wholesale business? That's where it begins, because everybody who comes into wholesale, there's a reason why you did it. Yeah, the product's great, right? But there's a bigger reason. Yes, you can make a lot of money, but there's a bigger reason. There's something in your life right now that you are missing, that you are lacking. So you're searching for something else. You're searching for, you know, that one thing that can help change your life. So when we talk about your why, If you don't know the reason why your brand partner, I'm saying as you sponsor people in business, if you don't know the reason why your brand partners are doing the business, right? It makes it so much easier for them to quit. And when I ask somebody for them to create their why for me, if it's not big enough to where they're going to cry or make me cry, and I know some of you know that I've cried, I've shed tears over some of your guys' reasons why you're doing the business. If it's not that strong, right? What happens is that you will quit at the first obstacle that you will meet. In fact, I talked about that on Java with Joe on Saturday about, avoid the obstacles that come your way. If we knew what they were, we would avoid them, but we don't. But if you have a big enough why, everybody, you need to understand that the bigger the why, the stronger your reason to keep doing that. And so right now, for everybody who's on this call, for those brand partners that I personally know that I've worked with, for those brand partners that are been doing this for a while that have written out their whys, everybody, I want you to stop for a moment and think to yourself, what was my why again? Why am I doing this business? Why have I worked the times that I worked during this business? And I want you to really think about it. Is that why real? Is that why going to drive you to keep doing what you're doing? Because look, you know, if you're not going to pursue, if that why isn't scratching at you every single day, it's kind of like the dog and the nail. Now I won't get into that for sake of time, but if the pain and change is not great enough, you're not going to do anything, right? So the why has got to be super, super important. If you have a brand partner with us that's brand new, if you're a brand partner that's been with us for a while and you have not done this exercise, I recommend you to do this right now. Take out your why, make your why, and write it down on paper. That's right. And be specific, because I don't let anybody say, well, I just want to make more money. What do you mean you want to make more money? What does that mean to you? Why do you want to make more money? Oh, I just want to have a bigger house. Okay, well, what's a bigger house going to do for you? Well, it's going to allow me and my kids to be all together, whatever it is. You have to make a why that is so important, right? That uh, that when you look at it, every time you revisit it, right? Every time you look at it, it's going to motivate you again. I don't care how bad of a day you had. I don't care where your house of business is at. If you are reading your why every day and you believe in that why, if you believe in that why, you will keep doing this business over and over, like the priming the pump. You keep pumping that well, pumping that pump until it starts to flow. Got it? Number two, write out your goals. And I always say, you see, the goal must be better than your best, but it must be believable. It must be better than your best, but it must be believable. And when I say believable is, it's all depending upon where your mindset is, everybody. It really is. If you say you want to earn $1 million, but you don't believe it, you won't get there. If you say you want to earn $100,000 for the wholesale business and you can believe that, then that's what you're going to get because you're going to believe it. So and once again, I'm talking about financial things. Whatever your goals are, right? They must be better than your best, but believable. And in this step, this is where you get to use the sky as your blackboard. What I mean is the sky truly is your limit. Whatever you write out is, whatever you want. I mean, it's God's universe, and He said you have not because you ask not. And so if you don't, I'm outside, as you can tell, and there's a helicopter flying overhead. But if you have a goal, right, that matches your whys, right, and you believe in that goal, and it's in writing, you'll go after it. But if that goal is not in writing, it's a wish. It's no longer a dream. It's only a wish. So when you set out your goals, you must be able to write them out on paper. And here's a few things to remember. Number one, it must be specific. When you write out your goals, it must be specific. Like I just said, it can't be, I want to earn a lot of money. It needs to be specific. I often use this corny line, in order to be terrific, you must be specific. So whatever your goals are, right, they must be specific. And I wrote out every single one. I attached it to the business I was doing back in 2007. I wrote out every single one of those rank advancement goals. I put dates on it. I put everything on those rank goals, and I put out where I want to be in 30, 60, 90 days, 108, 180 days, 1 year. I put, things materially that I wanted, the car, the whatever it was. I put this all in front of me, right? And this is part, we'll talk about the vision board, but I put all these things in writing because it must be specific. Number two, your goal must stretch you. That's why it must be better than your best, but it's got to be believable. And here's why. It's common that most of us will work up to about 80% of what we can truly do. That's right. We work up to about 80%, then we quit. So if your goal, you see, your goal must be better than your best, but above the rest. So the higher you set that, right? I always say, look, if you only shoot for the moon, you're going to fall short. If you shoot the stars, at least you'll fall, end up on the moon. So your goals must really stretch you, right? So one, must be specific. Number two, they must stretch you. Number three, your goals must be date stamped. That's right. You have to quantify whatever it is that you're looking for, whatever your goals are. You have to have a date of achievement on each of your written goals. If you don't date stamp your goals and say that sometime in the future I'll get there, well, guess what? That sometimes will never come. By putting a date stamp on it, oh boy, let me tell you, it's going to motivate you, right? It'll drive you, it will scare you, and it will stretch you to your core. Why? Because there's a pending date, right? An impending. There's a date on it that you say, oh my gosh, I got to get there. The problem is that most people quit too easy on those dates. But let me also tell you that you can also revisit those goals and readjust those goals. But you got to make sure that you put a date on each one of them. And you want to make sure, like I just said, you want to write your 30, 60, 90, 6 month, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. If you talk to and sit down and talk to those 1% income earners of the world, talk to them. I would venture to say that 99.999% of every one of them have yearly goals. They have, 2 years, 3 year, 5 years, 10-year goals. They have all their goals in writing. That's what separates them from the rest, because they're willing to do what most people won't do. Okay, so one, specific. Two, the goals must stretch you. Three, your goals must be date stamped. Okay, number four, and I think this exercise right here is so powerful. Create a vision board. If you've never done it before, I highly, highly encourage. Remember, what I'm telling you right now is a roadmap to $100 million business. It is. If you do all these things that I'm telling you right now, and you do them over and over and over and over and over again, you'll be well on your way to doing to creating a business that you never even dreamed possible. And it starts with a vision board. The power of visualization is the most powerful tool one can possess. One of my favorite quotes of all time by Napoleon Hill, he says, whatever the mind of man can conceive, it can achieve. Whatever your mind can conceive, whatever, doesn't say this or that, it says whatever your mind can conceive, it can achieve. You see, once you put something in your subconscious mind and that's all you think about, that's all you think about over and over and over and over again, what happens is your subconscious mind doesn't know if it's real or not. You see, when you're thinking about these things and visualizing these things come to fruition. Ask me how I know. It's happened over and over and over and over. And I'm going to tell you a story that I don't think I've shared before. When I was 8 years old, I wanted a mini bike. My parents said, you're nuts, because my older brother wanted a mini bike and they were not going to get him a mini bike. And then my dad's furniture store had this picnic, and the person who would make this drawing up, right? We could do whatever we want, but whoever made this drawing up, and they would win, prize, whatever. So I did this elaborate drawing, right, of me dreaming about this mini bike. I can remember me in the bed and the mini bike, and did all this stuff to it. And that's all I thought about. That's all I thought about. I kept bugging my parents. I kept seeing my vision board, my mini bike. I kept seeing it over and over. And guess what happened? I got that mini bike. My brother was pissed when I got that mini bike, because I visualized. I learned at a very young age, if you want something, visualize and you'll get it, because it will, whatever you visualize, it will materialize, right? You see, as I said, your subconscious mind doesn't know whether it's real or not. Whatever you put your thoughts, whatever you put into your thoughts is exactly what comes into your life. So for instance, take a look at your life right now. Really take a look at it. Do you know that everything you have, everything you're doing, everything you're becoming is because of the thought patterns of the past, right? Thought everything, whether you don't have enough money in your bank, you're not in the house that you want, you're not driving the car that you want, you don't have the car, the job that you want, whatever it is, all these things, right? All these things are truly a process of what your mind has been thinking about for however long it's been. It's so true. Everything you have right now is a total sum of all your thoughts. I mean, I can go on and on about this, but when I talk about changing your mind, I'm so passionate about this because that is what created me from just becoming an average income earner to a multi-million dollar income earner. I changed my mind. I changed my thoughts. I regulated everything that I thought about. See, I only wanted a positive energy environment around me. That's all if there was negativity, I'd say, whoa, 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 get away from me. Because everything on my vision board was creating this positive environment in my mind. Everything, everything on my vision board that I put up there, and I had it up in front of me that I saw every single minute of the day. It was right above my chair, right above my computer screen in my office, and I'm on my computer screen. And what am I seeing? Da, 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 da. What's on my desktop as my desktop saver? One of my goals, which was that Mercedes, and on another one was uh, um, the motorhome that we later ended up getting. So all these different things were always there, but I just kept putting my mind to it. I kept going through it over and over and over. Um, I don't know how many are book readers, right? But there's so many great books. Of course, one of the second most, I don't know if you know this, obviously the most published or most bought book is, of course, the Bible. Number two behind it is, of course, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's a great book. If you have not read it, it's a great book. As a Man Thinketh is another great book. Another great book. Outwitting the Devil, another great book. There's a lot of great books that help you understand how the mind's supposed to think, right? There's so many great books out there. If you truly want to change your life, everybody, create your vision board, start changing your thoughts, start controlling your thoughts. And we're going to talk about Hülsa right here for just a minute. It's 6:23. If your business is not where it's going right now, you want to change that thought pattern. That person, well, that person's going to say no, or that person's quitting me, or that person's not doing it, or that quit thinking about that. Only put into your mind what you want, not what you don't want, because whatever you put into that you don't want, guess what? Don't want is going to happen. Start thinking about these things, right? So right here it says create a vision board digitally or physically. Digitally, you can do it online. Physically, it means you're cutting out a magazine, right? You want to be able to do all these things so that you can have it in front of you. And I mean, what I mean by just don't make one and then forget about it. If you truly want to change your life, you have got to put the energy and effort to visualizing your vision board and seeing everything. One last thing before I go into number 5. One of the most important steps as you're visualizing what you want in life, or whatever that is. If you do not put the mind and feeling together, in other words, whatever you see, right, it should make you feel whatever it is. Let's just talk about, a lifestyle of someone who's making 7 figures a year, $1 million income, right? Live a little, and I want your mind to think about what would that lifestyle look like, right? So now you're starting to think about, well, I travel the world, I'd probably be able to drive a car and put my kids to the best schools and whatever it is. And so those are going to be euphoric to you. So that's going to bring up a feeling. The more times you can see a vision and then create this feeling, when the internal feeling inside of you, my gosh, whatever you're looking at will happen a lot quicker when you can attach the feeling to whatever it is that you're seeing, right? Okay. Number 4, commit to accomplishing your goals, right? Once again, as I said at the beginning, this is not easy, everybody, to do all these things, right? But, how bad do you want it? How bad is it worth changing your life by doing a few things? And this one here, number 4, is commit to accomplishing your goals. What you want to understand is, this is, for this reason, goals are super aggressive at the time, but their time of commitment is not. People will set goals, but they're not willing to make these time commitments, right? They're not willing to put time into, to daily commitment to doing whatever it is. And doing whatever it is doing the daily activities, right? The proven pattern, predictable pattern of success steps, doing these steps, doing all your activities every single day, making time commitments to work your wholesome business. Because what I've seen over for the last 16 years, a person's on fire at the beginning, they get some momentum going. They're so excited about that. They're making their time commit. They're making their calls. They're doing their follow-ups. They're sending out product. They're attending all the calls, the Zoom calls, and they're doing all these things at the very beginning. And then they hit a little hiccup. Someone doesn't show up to a meeting, or someone quits the business, or someone says no, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're missing the next call, and then they're not sharing the business anymore. Then they're not sharing product anymore, and then that water pump's just starting to run dry. And then they're starting the next month, they haven't sponsored anybody. And then 2 months go by, and they're just kind of on auto ship. 3 months go by, they click off auto ship because they don't really care. If you don't commit to your daily, if you're not committing daily to accomplishing your goals, you will fall short. You will. I mean, think about, Edison, 10,000 hours, 10,000 failures, right? 10,000 failures. Another good book, The Outliers by Maxwell Gladwell. Maxwell Gladwell. Anyways, Gladwell's the last name. It's a great book. Talks about all these successful people and what it took to get there. They committed to their goals every single day, no matter how long it took. Several weeks ago, I talked about what it took my son to become a national football player, right? Would have taken him 17 years before he ever got there. 17 years before he before he would get to his goal. What are you willing to commit every day to accomplishing your goals? Okay. Income producing activities versus busy work, right? Income producing activities is basically all these steps that I'm showing you. Your time commitment. What are you committing to? Revisiting your goals every day, looking at your vision board, making your calls, doing your follow-ups, like attending the activities, sending out samples, setting goals every single month of how many brand partners you're going to sponsor in. Because in this business, if you do not continually sponsor people in, right? Or if you're not talking to 5, 10, 20 people a day, if you're not doing these things, your business will not grow to the potential it's supposed to grow to. It just won't. You got to be able to do these things every single day. Every single day, you got to do these things. And so you need to just ask yourself, what am I committed to? Right? See, activities versus busy work. Activities are all the things I just talked about. Busy work is, well, I need to rearrange my desk, or I just need to check a little bit more on CBD, what CBD is all about, and cannabis and all this stuff. That's busy work. That's not going to get you anywhere into accomplishing your goals. So what you need to look at is, what are you committing to every day? What are you doing right now that's generating revenue or not? Plain and simple. Many times I see distributors get caught up in things that will not produce revenue or move them closer to the goals. And yet in their mind, what they're doing is okay. Well, I'm here to tell you that busy work is not revenue generating work. It's called avoidance behavior. Avoidance behavior is when people just stop doing whatever they're supposed to do in order to get to that next level. They just don't do it. Stay committed. Okay. Okay. Next. Number 6, right? This is where you make your call list, right? Write down a list of 100 to 300 plus names. The more names you have on your list, right, the better off you have. You know what the death of a brand partner is? Running out of names. That is running out of names. And that's why you want to add to your names list every single day. I know a person in this industry that makes a couple $1 million a month from network marketing. You heard me right. He makes a couple $1 million a month. And he told me one time, he goes, Joe, you don't have a big enough names list. You're not adding to it every day. What new contacts have you added to your list in the last month? And he was right. So I learned from somebody who makes a lot of money that you have to add to your names list every single day, because that is where you're going to find those gems, those green jelly beans in that jar of thousands of black ones, right? You're going to find that one green jelly bean, that one person is going to turn your business around. Keep searching, keep calling, keep sponsoring, keep sample dropping, keep doing it all. And then what you want to do is, number 7 is, once you get through all these steps, you want to schedule your first Zoom presentation with your sponsor so you can launch your business. Remember, this is for new businesses, as well as if you haven't done a launch, you can relaunch your business. You want to schedule your business, your presentation with your sponsor. They'll help you through it. I'll help you through it. Jeff will help you through it. David will help. No, David won't help you do it, but yeah, he would. But you want to be able to schedule that first Zoom. Number 8, call your list, invite them to schedule a Zoom presentation. Weeks ago I did about, make your call, make your list, I make your call. And I went through some of the scripts on there. We can kind of revisit that in the future of how to make the calls. But you want to be able to call your list and invite them to schedule to your Zoom presentation. Rule of thumb is don't invite them 2 weeks in advance because they won't show up. I like to do it no more than 5 days out. That's the best. That's kind of the sweet spot because you invite them at day 5. Day 3, you follow up. Day 1, you follow up, and day of the event, you're following up. So you condense your time down to how much follow up you got to do, but it stays fresher in their mind. Number 9, contest your 2 top positions over the next 7 days. This is for the waiting room. I'm not going to get into that because it's kind of elaborate. In fact, Jeff and because I've never built a waiting room, everybody. I'm just be honest with you. I've just never built a waiting room, but there's a way to use your waiting room, right? To leverage in a massive amount of ways to blow up your business. There's a company out there that's how they went to almost $1 billion by using the waiting room. They learned how to leverage it. Number 10, help them go through the same process. Anybody who bring into the business, if you do it the right way, if you follow the right steps, what's going to happen is that everybody you bring in, number 1, they're going to ask you, so what package did you enroll on? I enrolled on the, on the Momentum pack. Great. That's one I enrolled on. But what about AutoShip? I'm on three products. Okay, well then I guess I'll get 3. Whatever. You follow what I'm saying. So what do I do next? Well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to you're going to tell me what your why is. I want to know what your why is. And then we're going to write out your goals together. I want to know what your goals are. We're going to date stamp and on and on and on. These are the same steps that you're going to learn now that you're going to teach other people, because this business is what's called the power of duplication. Whatever you do, your team will do. If you do it right, they will do it right. If you do it wrong, I guarantee you they will do it wrong. And then guess what happens? 1 or 2 things. You either fight to rebuild it and do it right the second time around, or you quit the business. So do it right the first time, everybody. And like I said, whether you're new or whether you've been doing this for a while, if anything, right? For those that have been here for a while, if anything, what I'd like you to do is revisit your whys and your goals. And just ask yourself, how committed am I to those goals? Because right here it says, never forget why you started. I think that's a perfect way to end this. Never forget why you started, right? And this just came to mind. In America, we have a very high divorce rate, right? And the most common thing people say they get divorced because, well, I fell out of love. Really? What changed, man? My wife and I are going almost 40 years. Has there been some rough spot? You bet. Has that water in that pump gone down and I had to reprime that pump? And so yes. But I never forgot why I married her. That's the same way about your business. You want to never forget why you started and why you committed to it, why you're willing to do the things, and why you're, what I said on Saturday about, doing the things that most people won't do. It's not a 9 to 5 is how you make your income. It's from 5 on is how you make your fortunes. So you want to do me a favor, revisit your goals, revisit your whys, and ask yourself so that you never forget why you started. And ask yourself, how committed am I to this? Hey, before we close out, Jeff, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
No, I think you did a phenomenal job. It's so important, for people to write it down. Yeah, it's even biblical, to put it down, to keep it in front of your face. And so this has been around for thousands of years. It's nothing new. It's been around forever. And if you keep it there and you continue to look at it, it reminds me of a story of a guy who got into network marketing, Joe, and his dream was to have that brand new Cadillac. And he went out there and he went and got the brochures. He test drove it. He took that picture, he cut it out, and he put it on his mirror every day. So when he got out to brush his teeth, it would be there for him. And so he started doing that, and his wife got tired of looking at it, and she left for work before he did. And she just took it and put it in the drawer. She didn't want to look at it. He'd pick it back up. He'd stick it back there every day. Almost a year later to the day, he went and he got that new Cadillac. and he drove around. He showed everybody. He showed everybody who laughed at him
Sure, why
because he
not,
kept it in
right?
front of him. You know
That's
what?
right.
Guess what he saw the next morning when he got up? A picture of a mink coat.
I love it, man. Well,
So
you know, you're so right, Jeff. If you keep it in front of you. In fact, my wife, she knows whatever's on my desktop, look out. Whatever I put on my desktop, whatever, she just knows, and that's why I've been wanting to get a new coach. And I haven't put it on my desktop yet because we're kind of, we're kind of going back, but it happens. If you
right,
can visualize it, then you can materialize it, people. And I'm telling you, it works.
yep,
It's God's law. It's His universe. It's the law of attraction. Whatever you think about, you will bring about into your life.
right.
And that's the basics of it. Hey, while we're on this call, everybody, I just want to give you a heads up. This Saturday will be the final Java with Joe Saturday's training, because we're going into the summertime. Of course, then we got Memorial Weekend coming up at the end of the month. So this Saturday will be the last, and we'll take a break through the summertime, and we'll still do our Wednesdays training. In fact, Jeff's going to, darn it, well, it's going to be Java with Jeff this Saturday, everybody, because I've been asked to speak to a stroke support group this Saturday where my son goes to. So I was honored they asked me to do that. So it's something I have to do. Jeff's going to take the final Java with Joe, which would be Java. Hey, the Jays, man, same thing, right?
There you go.
So
Yeah, it would be the same if it was Java with David. It just wouldn't be the same.
yeah, that's right. It doesn't make sense. So thank you, Jeff, for taking the call this Saturday. Everybody pack the lines this Saturday, because I'm sure Jeff's going to have a phenomenal training, everybody. And hey, we got a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that we just cannot share. We want to share, but we just
Oh, it's
cannot yet.
close.
Just you guys have no idea what we've been working on behind the scenes. It's very, 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 did I say very? I did, right? Yeah, very exciting. Very exciting. My lips are sealed. Don't ask me, but we'll hopefully soon enough we'll be able to let everybody know. Okay, so
All right,
keep working,
everybody.
keep believing, keep dreaming. God bless you all. This is Joel Licciardi signing off
Great
from
job,
Temecula,
Joe.
California. Thanks, buddy. Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night.